What's up, guys? Got a rated 15-10 game against a 13-48. It's not feeling altogether that clever today. Still, sleep isn't fantastic, so we're going to see how we get on. Not going to wear the glasses because they make me swim. Okay. So the Englund Gambit declined reversed French. Now, immediately we're into calculation. I mean, is there any reason if I take white takes, we're in a symmetrical position. It's almost like a French exchange, like it says this is the reversed French variation. I don't think I want to push on. If I take, they take, I can't take back because then we trade queens and I lose castling rights. If I push my knight, I'm concerned about this with tempo, and then he can push e4. So what's correct here? Do I push d5? Do I push f5 anyway? Like a nutter? I don't know. I think probably takes is seems to be the least fraught with risk. Okay. So now if I play d5, we are basically in like a French exchange, I think. So I'm going to play that because I think I know what I'm doing a little bit. c6, bishop round, queen there, checkmate. That's the plan. It has worked once or twice. Okay. See, the French exchange has a reputation for being very drawish and dull. So I'm going to pin the knight. Get my light square bishop out. Light square bishop is not a problem in the French exchange variation because it's not trapped in. I mean, very often with a pawn on e6, the light square bishop has issues. So I'm going to go ahead. I think developing a knight makes sense. Really not, definitely not on top form today. I'm going to get myself out in the garden. Okay, the knight is not pinned. Let's proceed with the plan. I don't have to worry about getting my king castle straight away. Rook e1 might be on the slow side considering the white hasn't developed his queen side at all. I always have bishop to there if I need. I even have knight e4 as well. So I'm just thinking a couple of moves ahead about what might happen. If this knight should move, remember that white then has two pieces gunning down on my bishop, but I can trade my way out of that if I need to. Okay, so my plan is going to be bishop d6. Okay, so now if I move my bishop, he moves his bishop. He is thereby pinning his knight all over again, by the way. Or I could just, for example, do this, and if he wants to do some funny business with this, but I mean his bishop can only go to that square, can only go to d3. So I can always block with my bishop. I think this is okay. Block with my bishop, then I can get castled. And yes, it's cost me a tempo. If I move my bishop again, which I probably will at some point. But by the same token, he will have just pinned his own knight on his queen by putting his bishop here or possibly there. Actually, bishop f1 is not necessarily the stupidest move because it is adding some defense. What I notice about white's position is that his pieces are very much backward. If I flip the board, yeah, black from here does seem to be controlling quite a lot more squares. You know, got these two knights on opposite colours, linked to each other, defending the bishop, and white is already starting to feel a little bit like he's tripping over his own feet. So let's look at it again from my perspective. So that's just the equivalent of getting up and walking around the board in the playing hall. So the plan is basically this. I could even put my queen behind my bishop, eliminate the knight to take away defender of h2, right? Takey, if my bishop's here and my queen's here, I've got bishop takes check, and then king has to move so I can actually retreat the bishop. But even if if the king wasn't in check and he was able to push g3, I've got takes, bishop takes pawn, pawn takes, queen takes, and we're okay. So he's pinning my knight. I'm just going to move my queen here. Not even going to think about that one. The knight's perfectly well defended. So what I'm glad about, I want to be careful that he can't kind of... He has to move this bishop to give check, right? And there's really nothing... That bishop can't do any damage. It goes here or here or here. It's just putting itself on prise. If it goes here, I don't know. I mean, I could even have ideas about long castles. Obviously not out of check. You can't castle out of check. But there's nothing wrong with this move. Well, the only downside is it's a waste of time. As in a waste of tempo, not a complete waste of time. I don't know about long castles in this situation. My king would be very snug in that corner. Very safe from a light squared bishop. But then I could be creating alignment issues as well because my queen is over there. Notice b2 is undefended, so queen b6. I thought, maybe should I have thought about that? This pawn's defended twice. If he pushes there, it's not the end of the world for white. But I mean, the default is probably bishop d6, take out the knight and grab me a free pawn. And it's not just any free pawn either. It's a quite a hand. Oh, so what he's done here is he's doubled up his knight, same as I have, because he can't think of any of his own ideas. And so I have this. So now if I take the knight, he replaces it with a spare, and still defends h2. Which vexes me. So I mean, I could play bishop e7 now. I could play bishop d6 now. I could kick at a bishop. If I kick at a bishop, now I haven't castled. I haven't put my cards on the table yet. I may still go long. I kick at a bishop. Can't go here because queen takes. Here is just getting in everyone's way. Retreats here. I could still push up. But then he comes here and attacks my queen. That is problem. No, it's not problem. So if I put my bishop first, bishop on d6 first, with ideas about kicking him back again, then I can wipe him out. And is white going to recapture with the f-pawn or the h-pawn? If I move my bishop now and he moves his bishop, then... Or should I just castle immediately? Let's go on, let's do it. Let's long castle. Now I've kind of pinned my knight again, but this rook can come to e8. But I think now bishop d6, kickity, there. I don't even have to pull the trigger then. Because if I've got my pawns on these two squares, I could even just threaten to push up and see if he blinks. Let's walk around the table again. I notice that's undefended. If I was white here, I'd start to be thinking about launching an attack down the queen side. At the same time, he's got things to worry about. This bishop coming out here. See, sometimes you see moves from the wrong side of the board that you wouldn't consider from your own side of the board. It's funny like that, isn't it? Kicky, blocky. I don't know. It's all very even right now. He's on 10.5 minutes too. Because he had a long think about bishop g5, this move. Okay, so he's pushed c3. He's pushed c3 because he saw that, pinning his knight. But that's not my plan. I think I'm just going to stick my bishop there. I like the fact that he's taking some time, so time may become an issue. As long as we don't get into a losing position, because we've got a 10 second increment. I like the fact that I have now completed development on move 10. White, however, is only one move off completing development by developing the queen off the back rank and connecting the rooks. So white's done well as well. See, white has moved 2 pawns. Well, 3 really, because one's disappeared, and same for me. Do we have a symmetrical pawn structure? We do indeed. Exactly the same. We've got almost exactly symmetrical position. What is the difference then? Because the knights are the same as well. Difference is here. So now actually, is this a threat? No, because he's going to replace it with this spare knight. Huh. I could take here. Now he's played c3 and then c4. If he didn't have this knight here, might be an issue. Now if I take this and he takes back with the bishop, this knight is pinned. If I take this and he takes back with the knight, I can trade and he can only take back with the bishop, and then I win a pawn. So I'm going to grab the central pawn for tactical reasons. Okay, so now this knight is pinned. Note, that means that this knight is not defending this pawn, which is now undefended. Is this now an idea? Kickity, kickity, kick. Bang. Why not? I don't see a reason why not. Let's just think yin as well. Let's think about defense. Oh, by the way, I spy an undefended pawn. So I'm going to launch this idea first of all. I think maybe moving this knight might be an idea so that the queen defends the that pawn. I've got... Oh! Okay, well I'm going to recapture with the knight. That's the plan, so that the queen defends this. My other idea, I was going to say, was knight b6, hitting this bishop. Now, before we do that, let's briefly talk about gf, which does appear to give up a pawn. So if I take the g-pawn and he takes there, I'm going to have a pawn on here, and these two guys have gone, right? So I've got a pawn on here, pawn on here. I don't see any real benefit to that. I'm going to take the knight. This is still pinned, which means it's not guarding any of these squares. This knight is still kind of tied to the defense of that knight. Because even if queen takes, I still have this. King has to move, bishop just pulls back. Just started a new piece of work, working through Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual and creating some studies for the Chess Boot Camp guys, which is interesting. I've kind of lost my fear of it a little bit. I did find it very, very obscure to start with, but it is actually very well written, this book. So, what do we think about rook HE1, E8? What's the point of this move? I don't know, it seems a little bit aimless. What about this as well? Bishop here kind of pins this knight. So then if I take, he takes with the queen. Oh, I win the knight and fork rooks, yeah? But then if I move my bishop here, I'm now no longer on that tactic. But I'm not on that tactic while he's got a knight here. It's all very confusing. Bishop here. I'm threatening to take this knight. And queen can't recapture, and neither really can knight. Bishop here, he does something. I take knight. Knight takes, I take rook. I just win an exchange there. So, also my rook's then threatening that pawn with a discovery. Yeah, let's try it. Yeah, so I'm threatening this. Its only defender is pinned on queen and can't move. So now I'm actually threatening to take the central pawn. That is a threat, as is this. Managed to create 2 threats with 1 move, which is always nice. If I take here, and knight takes, I take, queen takes, and I've simply won an exchange. So I have given up both bishops for a knight and a rook, basically. But what that means, my opponent only has 1 bishop. And 1 bishop is a lot less powerful than half of 2 bishops, if you get my drift. This pawn, oh, I was going to say, oh no, this pawn doesn't hang because of that. Okay, has he solved all his problems in one go? Okay. So now I can't take this because the pin's not on, right? I didn't see this. By the way, my first thought is rook HE8. Now, if I take, he takes back with bishop. But then I can actually take that, yeah? If I take a knight takes, I get the rook, so that's not going to happen. I take, bishop takes, rook takes d4, and I've got a rook and a knight looking at there. Let's do it. The knight is pinned because if I have a rook here, I know it's looking a bit ugly, isn't it? This is a 5-11 game. You can hear choral music in the background. It's the state funeral of Queen Elizabeth on the telly. Okay, now this. I can't think of a good reason why it shouldn't be taken. It's a central, isolated pawn. It deserves to die. So it falls. There's no pawn that can fork here. This knight is super pinned. So if it moves, then the queen falls. My plan is probably now rook h to d8 and double up. Get double trouble against this guy. Now he does have rook c2, rook e2 to add defenders 2 and 3. But don't I then have also like queen d6 adding attacker number 4? And it's simply winning a game of 1 potato, 2 potato. I appreciate that a lot of people watching this video probably don't know what 1 potato, 2 potato is. but it's a game that you played at school with putting your fists on top. 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4, 5 potato, 6 potato, 7 potato, more. I don't know. Don't know what you do from that point. Can't remember. It's been a long time since I was a child, you see. I need a right good sleep, me. Okay, there we go. There's defender number 2. We now have 2 defenders. We now have 1, 2, 3 attackers. Let's make the defenders orange. Now he does have this with defender number 3. It's a very pleasant colour. That colour. I wouldn't want to wear it unless I was refereeing. But then I have this. And I think he's buggered. Which is obviously a technical term. I have my screen set with a thing called iris, by the way. So my screen is actually kind of ever so slightly browner than if I switch iris off. It's like it seems really icy blue and sharp and harsh on the eyes. It's meant to be better for your eyes to have a warmer tone on your monitor. Now, if I was still doing like full-time graphic design, I wouldn't be able to do that because I'd need to be seeing the colours how clients and the public are going to see the colours, but I don't do that much design these days. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 attackers. Now this is playable, but it's a complete waste of time. Well, let's think it through, right? I take a rook takes a rook takes a rook takes a... Well, no, sorry, first I have to put my queen there. And then take... Okay, queen's here. Takes... Okay. I take... This takes... This takes... This takes... Queen takes... You take queen, I take... And I think I'm left with a rook and you're not. So it's either a free knight, or it's more than a free knight, basically. That's how you have to, learn to think about these long exchanges. It's basically, I get to take that because I have more attackers and defenders. So that's mine. Okay. If he goes into exchanges, I'm still a knight up. If he exchanges again, hang on. I take, he takes. No, I take. I'm a knight up. Takey, takey. I'm still a knight up. We've traded rooks. Rook takes, queen takes. I take knight, free knight. Rook takes bishop. Now I'm a rook up. Yes. And if he takes again, then I'm a rook up. Yes, that's it. So he's like, he'd be doubling down on his material loss. Very interesting. And he's also burning quite a lot of clock here. His last moves have been 1 minute 10, 1 minute 34, and he's down to 3:42. So, I think he's in some trouble. He has a check, but that doesn't work. That is his only check. So he's going to have to give up the knight and contemplate living the rest of the game without a horse. A horse, my kingdom for a horse. Yeah, well, you can think all you like, but it's basic arithmetic, pal. I can't see a way out of this. Let's go take the knight. Let's say I just want to retire my bishop somewhere. I'm then actually attacking his queen with the discovery. And should his queen end up on the I mean, the queen would have to stay on the back rank, yeah? Then my rook drops onto the back rank, attacking queen and king effectively, even if the queen's in the way of the king, if she's that way. If she's that way, it's a fork. So you're in a whole heap of poo. Okay, now okay. Bishop takes is a free knight. Rook takes is still a free knight because he's got rook takes. Okay, let's take with the bishop and attack the queen. Now something else must be done. Now you've just got to withdraw your queen, and she can't go there. Pretty sure about that. Huh. Don't keep trading, right? You shouldn't trade everything off when you're behind in material. You're already... So he's basically just upgraded that. He shouldn't have taken that bishop, right? After this, he's a knight behind. He's a knight and a pawn down, right? After this, so it's gone from +4 for black to +6 for black in terms of material value. You should have figured that out, Jaffini. Notice that the bishop is guarding this square as well. Okay, well, I am going to trade off because it's in my interests. Right, I am absolutely not going to put my queen on there. Don't let me put my queen on there. Right, how do we finish off this bugger? My one thought is rook e8, rook e1, checkmate. He doesn't have this because knight guards. It undefends my queen, but I'm not too concerned. Arrow. Yeah, I think I just had to do this because that is mate. Because the queen is still guarding this diagonal. So I'm trying to use... I've got options of using a rook or a queen for the back rank. One problem with queen back rank is she can't go straight there, but neither can the rook because the queen was in the way. So it's going to be 2 moves to get either my major pieces on the back rank. Anyway, but it's worth doing because this is forceful. Rook e8 threatens mate on the next turn. So what you gonna do? What you gonna do? You're gonna push a pawn, block off the queen. If let's say, for sake of argument, he does this, and I does this, and he does this. I may have to use my knight. I may think about putting my pawns on light squares and coming after this bishop. Actually, my knight could come around and give check on that square. Okay. Right, well that's a slight surprise. Okay, rook e1, and he can't go there because of the queen. So rook e1, king g2 is forced. Okay, what's the... Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's just coming at him on the light squares, force these pawns to give way. I don't really have that because he's got 2 attackers on that square. I've only got 1 defender. Okay, you're attacking my knight. Now I do have this, which cometh with tempo, like a thief in the night. Also, dude, still have this, yeah? Also have this. Rook e1 check, king g2 forced. Bishop here, sorry, rook e4 hits queen. I've even got things like this. I don't know, or do I just hit the queen now? Hit the queen now, queen just moves. Can't go in with the queen, I can't go in there or there. I'm going to have to involve the knight. Actually, he's hitting my knight, but the knight is defended. Okay, well let's just carry on with the plan then, in that case. I'm quite pleased with the way this game has gone, considering I'm, you know, running an eco mode, not on a full brain. Do I trade off queens? My queen is undefended, so it's either trade queens or move. Let's trade off. I've got then, effectively, I've got a completely passed c-pawn then, and he's resigned. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And Sean OGX guessed 3 out of 6. Quality. Right, let's have a quick look at the review. I'm quite pleased with that performance. I was. Oh, I have a blunder and a missed win. Excellent. But 83.1, I will take that. Let's see what this blunder was. Okay, book. Bishop b2, yeah. Okay, bishop d6 was best. That was the move I was talking about, but yeah. Okay, this is all okay. And now, knight b to d7 was a blunder. But why? Should have blocked with the bishop. Okay, then he blundered. Because he should have gone bishop a6. What? Okay. Bishop a6 check. But then I knew I had this, right? That was my idea. And how does that leave me nearly minus, well, three pawns down? It's not sure. Stockfish is a little bit slow. Bishop takes b7. Oh, of course, so it comes with tempo. Oh! Well, that was just silly. Yeah, it's a free pawn. A free pawn for his bishop. Crikey. What? Didn't think about that. Look at this. Yeah, I knew he had the discovery, and I said, do you remember I said the bishop can't go to these squares, or it's not going to have much fun on there, right? So what I should have done is preemptively block the discovery, because he has this, and the pawn hangs. Well, there you go. There you go. All right, so he blunders. This is inaccurate. Again, I should have done the same thing. All right, but he didn't figure that out. Oh, it liked long castles. I'm happy about that. The white's still a bit better here. c3 it didn't fancy. He should have gone straight for c4, which is kind of right because he did that anyway on the next turn. So he's just burned a move there for no reason. And that's okay. Rook d to e8 would have been preferable. That's a mistake. Oh, this was on. Are you joking me? This was on because the knight's pinned. As soon as he did that, right, reinstated the pin, I could have just grabbed the pawn. Bishop takes h2 as best. Okay, now he takes, I take with the knight, yes. And that's a blunder. Ha. Because I could have I've been talking about capturing that stupid pawn for half the effing game, and I had many opportunities to do it, and I didn't do it, and that's a missed win. You muppet, Hunty. You absolutely sock puppet. And that's a blunder. He should have played Queen A4. Oh, that's interesting, Queen A4. But, you know, he was thinking defensively at that point. Wow, okay. So I was celebrating this as quite a clever move. With the attack on the, discovered attack on the pawn and stuff like that. I failed to notice that he had Queen A4. And then I would have had to have gone here and traded off. But that just doesn't work. That's a great move. Excellent. Rook takes best. Okay, grabbing the free stuff. Okay, it was genuinely free. There was no pawn fork risk. Absolutely. And this is, you know, like I said, inaccurate. There's no point trying to save the knight. The knight is meat. The knight is horse meat. Give it up. And he's dead lost now, basically. Rook 8 is excellent. Queen e6. This is the same kind of thing. And yeah, basically all over at this point. And trading off is best. You know, I'm up in material, up a full rook. You absolutely trade off. Double his pawns, get a complete passer. All good. Brilliant. Well, I enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed it too. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you later.